get the power.
The wacky world of MultimediaJay.
I've had the Dremel as my first rotary power tool type thing for a while. But drilling, however, has been out of the question for things like drilling through sheet metal. And other things that, like drilling through sheet metal in a computer case and other modding type stuff. So yeah, latest trip to Walmart where I was only going to get groceries and I wound up getting something else. I love the sparks though. Yeah, don't use the power drill near any gas leaks or anything. Simple minds are amused by simple things. Now, before people think that I'm messing with them, this is not going to be a video about a power drill. But first off, safety first. Put the neutral switch back in the middle so you can't accidentally pull the trigger. And let's put that off to the side. Drill bits! Woo! Actually, the real reason that we're here is because of this little device right here. Yeah, so this has been sitting around the project area for months. This is the X-Dragon, although of course I titled this one Unleash the Amp Dragon, because this is an inline USB amp meter, which I can use to see exactly how good the various USB cables are that I have at, carrying current, which is key to charging your average smartphone. So I got this little Schumacher jump starter thing that has a 5-volt 2.4 amp out port, which is way more than you need for most phones, but I'm actually curious how much the various types of cables that I have give when you plug things in. When you plug them in and whatnot. Let's get this plugged in here. Oh, what do you know? This is really hard to do one-handed. Be right back. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, whatever. Apologies if you see any sawdust on the table. I was actually fixing some, put the power drill aside. I was actually fixing some bamboo chimes earlier, that one of the things broke and I needed new string and I had to drill bigger holes to use a shoelace to fix the darn thing. So we get roughly our 5 volts, and here's the amperage that is going out. I think it cycles between the two if you hook up two things. So let's go fiddle around with some cables and see how much amperage they can charge a smartphone with. Here's the cable that came with the phone that's marked charge only, no data, 0.89 amps. Trying a generic Walmart cable here, and you know what? I don't think this is a good test. I think we gotta find something that will just take all the power you can throw at it, like something that's mostly discharged. Ooh, now this is more interesting. Of course, it also says right there that the input is 5 volts 2 amps. So I don't know if there's some kind of limiter circuit that keeps it from drawing too much current when it's charging up. But yeah, so they got 2 amps there. See, the thing that's got me scratching my head is that whereas voltage is something you can set, current is something that is drawn. So voltage is something you have control over, and current is more the sort of thing where the conditions of the circuit determine what passes through. So I think there might be some kind of load resistor or some kind of way of keeping this from drawing too much current that is locking these things at a certain amperage amount. And I think this is dropping because it's almost done charging all the way. So there's probably some kind of regulator circuit that keeps it from just, going nutso with the charge. And it's dropping down because the thing's at 99%. I gotta discharge something or something like that. I wonder. The tablet's an absurdly inefficient power hog. Let's see what we can get this thing to draw. Nuts. Once again, the joke's on me. I actually kept this thing at a decent charge level. That's pretty unusual for how this thing usually operates. Well, let's keep the screen cranked up and just leave it here for a while. This thing is such a power hog, I'm sure it'll be down to 50% in no time. Oh look, Bluetooth's firing up. Maybe we should turn on a GPS program too, that'll sap it in no time. There, see, told ya, down to 99% after just a minute or two. However, I did manage to find some of these power packs that are all like 80, 79%. Yay, something that's somewhat discharged. Let's hook one of these up. this thing's still not at 100%, and it's drawing 1 amp. So it looks like it slows down, but that's the thing, it's got to have some kind of regulator circuit to keep the battery cells from being slammed up, or it's just a side effect of the battery cells trying to finish charging, that they gradually draw less and less current until everything's charged. Walmart power block, 1.78 amps. Let's try a fatter cable with a bigger connector from Monoprice and see if that moves any. There's a moose of a cable. This is made for high drain devices, but apparently, no, 1.23 amps. Yeah, nothing exciting whatsoever with the fatter cable. And actually, the shorter cable is giving the better results. So, let's try a really, really short cable to see if cable length is part of the issue here. After all, cable length would increase the resistance, which would lower the amount of current draw. I decided to be lazy and grab another default charger cable thingy that came with something, and I'm only getting 1.5 amps. So this square doohickey, which it's an Asus cable actually, so this might actually be the default charging cable for the tablet from back in the day. Yeah, 1.5 amps, so those Walmart cables are actually pretty decent. Let's get some more cables and see what happens. Nope, I figured these short little charging cables were rubbish. 1.5 amps, so the Walmart cable is actually giving me the better results so far. Now let's check out this extension cable thingy, this retractable extension cable thingy. That doesn't look like we can squeeze a lot of copper in there. I totally called it. This thing gives us 1 3/4 amps. Until we hook up this extension thing, which is obviously only good for signal. Does it get worse if we extend the cable out further? It shouldn't, I mean. Nope. A crappy amount of copper is a crappy amount of copper. Yeah, this thing's horrible. Charging 2 things at once now. So other than situations where there isn't really a lot of copper, it looks like the Walmart stuff, 3-foot, that's not the Walmart cable. That is, though. It looks like the Walmart stuff actually holds its own quite well with 3-foot cables in terms of the current draw. Of course, if I run into a situation where something seems to be discharging, when it's supposed to be charging, then I'll check and see with the amp meter just how well it's doing. So, but I really don't think copper is a limiting factor. I think actually the state of the charging circuits are a limiting factor as to what exactly gets pulled in terms of amps. Although hooking up 2 devices at once drained the voltage down below 5 volts. But at least we know that this thing is capable of doing 2.4 amps because it's doing 2.35 out to both devices at once. Well, I don't want to sit here goofing around with this stuff all day, so I'll just let these 2 power blocks continue charging and have a little too much fun with the power drill? I don't know. There is some more stuff that we can take a look at while these 2 power blocks are charging, though. So in regards to my issues with smart lights earlier, I actually changed the program that all the smart lights run off of to be an alternative to the Genie app. Because Genie is the default app, so I'm assuming that everybody's using that. That increases the traffic and the load on the system or something, but I'm trying an alternative that is compatible with Genie devices, and we'll see if we get better results. Or maybe I just had bad luck and the system just had that many blackouts during the week. Still requires the internet. To do everything, though, so I think that is a weak point and something that deters me from using smart technology and more things besides lighting that's kind of optional. But there is one thing I forgot to mention. It is possible to manually reset these things back to functioning like normal lights. It's basically the clear code, so if you turn it on and off a couple of times, eventually it'll just deprogram itself and go back into, there we go, normal mode, and now it's blinking because it wants to be set up again. However, let's turn it off and leave it off for a couple of seconds or so to get it out of programming mode. 4, 3, 2, 1, turn it back on, and now it'll function like... Okay, before people with reactions to lights and stuff like, okay, that's just stupid. I thought I could at least clear the color on it or something, but now I've deprogrammed one of the smart lights. Come on, function like a... No. Off, on. It just wants to be programmed again. No. 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 Yeah, this technology has some work. It needs a little bit of work. Set gaming lights to white.
Sure, changing 3 lights to white. It looks like the movie light isn't available right now.
Could that be because I just accidentally deprogrammed it? Whatever. So after reprogramming the lights, and probably have to make some more adjustments later because the system's still not 100% back to normal, I suppose now's as good a time as any to mention the new chair. This is the Staples Whitcomb Big and Tall Fabric Chair, and compared to the chemical fake leather stuff that I'm used to, this feels more like a... This doesn't feel like an office chair at all. It feels more like 80s furniture or something like that, or something from a car or something along those lines. I just wish I could run some fabric softener on this to soften it up a bit. Now, I don't know if there's a way to apply fabric softener without having to throw something in the laundry, but something that could soften these things up and make them a little less scratchy would be pretty nice as well. However, this is a Big and Tall. We're going to see how long this thing lasts, and the big thing is, like most gaming chairs, these things actually fold up. So if you slide this thing forward too much and you slam into the desk, this just pops up and you push it down later. I also have a massage neck pillow here that fits perfectly along the edge of something like that to make up for the fact that it's only a manager chair and not an executive chair, so there is nothing for your head to rest against if you're seated all the way back. But if you slouch a little, your head will hit, my head hits roughly there, so you can just bring in the pillow for leaning forward and stuff like that. So we'll see how this is compared to the fake leather or bonded leather chairs. I'm sure that the fabric can fray and tear and stain and things like that, and I might need some carpet cleaner or upholstery cleaner or something for it. But that versus chemical-based fake leather that is subject to hydrolysis after a couple of years, especially if someone sits in it for too long and there's too much heat and humidity, so to speak. We'll see what kind of track record we get with this thing. Well, nuts. Another night come and gone. Almost time to hear birds chirping and all the normal people getting up. Night shift problems. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.